The Boys, Season 4, Episode 6, Dirty Business. Yo, they meant all of that. Let's talk about it. All right, guys. Brent here back with variants cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. This time, The Boys. Without further ado, the man, the myth, the Marvel. Tell me your thoughts on this episode.
Yo, we picking up from the last episode. We getting right into it. So at that, Butcher needs his virus made, and he needs it within a week. He is getting in Samir and be like, "Yo, you need to get my stuff done because I need this. We got to focus on Homelander. I just need you to give me one shot for Homelander, and that's his focus." He is trying to get in there, but he is still having conversations stuff with Kessler and Becca, trying to figure out what's the best course of action. Throughout the process of that, of course, he comes to realize that stuff can only be so strong before it goes airborne. Like it is going to kill every soup, and that's something that Butcher's got to wrestle with, and he's trying to figure out how best to wrestle with it. While the rest of the team is trying to go ahead and take care of Huey and what needs to be done while spreading his father's ashes and getting ready for the next mission. So in the process of that, they got to go see Milk's informant, which happens to be none other than the Spider-Man ripoff, Web Weaver. Web Weaver is definitely cracked out on something. He is ready to do whatever it takes to get whatever he needs to keep himself going, including, taking a line of "Don't be minister sausage while drinking your juice in the hood." Them cheeseburgers. Yeah, he was willing to do whatever for them cheeseburgers. Same exact concept with Web Weaver. But either way, just seeing the character on screen was funny. We didn't get to really see the character in action, but knowing that he was there was enough for me just to be like, yo, there it is. But we got more Tech Night. This your boy Tech Night, right, Brent? You like
He's
your
not my
Tech Night?
boy. Do not start that because that's how people get canceled. You quiet down over there and you quiet down in a heck of a hurry. Tech Knight turns out has not only been on one for a little while, Tech Knight has been on one since birth. He is from one of those one percenter families that owns just about everything that's going on. He was bragging to A Train about how his family used to wrangle up individuals and how he now runs a penitentiary. He's like, I just changed the wording on it so everyone's happy. So that means you are just a straight up POS Tech Knight. You are just going through the semantics of changing how you're doing the same thing that you've always been doing. And on top of that, you have all these extra layers going on in your life because you have this weird fascination with holes. But I don't really want to get too much into that because look, Tech Knight was throwing a shindig. Everyone's showing up, everyone from Homelander to Newman to our one and only informant, Web Weaver slash Huey. Talk to the folks about how some of this broke down.
So, like I said, we already mad at Tech Knight. Brent was mad about Tech Knight and all everything he had going. But the fact is that he's running this shindig. He's trying to get all these boosters and all this stuff to kind of help boost Homelander and Newman up where they need to, while he went ahead and took care of his other activities downstairs. Basically, he ended up going downstairs and having his whole tech cave, and Web Weaver was supposed to be his new sidekick. Well, Web Weaver ended up being replaced by Huey because they needed a way to infiltrate the party. Coming to find out, that whole deal that Tech Knight had with Web Weaver about being a sidekick has some favors involved. And needless to say, a lot of those favors were put on Huey to take care of. Let's put it this way: chocolate cake will never look the same again. I don't want to deal with it with that. The color red, definitely something that is going to be etched into my head in ways that I'm not happy about either. And the simple fact is that Ashley was in on it too, because you already seen Ashley with her dominatrix side. So having her kind of be involved with Tech Knight makes sense, and everything that was going on. Now, all this could have been stopped if only Zendaya was available, but that turned out not to be the case, as the safe word was not available for Huey because he did not know, and he ended up having to be saved by Starlight and Kamiko. Only way they saved him because he was about to get some holes put in him. so that Tech Knight could have more fun. Now, in the process of them holes getting ready to get put in him, for them to even get down there, they had to deal with Sister Sage, who they found writing notes and stuff like that, and they ended up having to scramble her brains and make her a little dumb just so they can get in there and save Huey. But in the process of it, Mother's Milk had a whole panic attack because he can't keep it together with that. He got issues, and him being ever since he's been in control of the team, he has been sliding down a slippery slope. So kind of the same way Butcher's been dealing with a whole lot of stuff, Mother's Milk has been dealing with a whole lot of stuff as well, just trying to keep the team on track and do what they need to do. And now, granted, he's had some great ideas for stuff. Again, turning A-Train informant as well, utilizing everybody he's got to his to whatever needs he has, like even getting A-Train to run him to the hospital thanks to Kamiko's quick thinking. It's still not enough for Mother's Milk to stay on his feet to handle business. He's still having issues. So that needs to be addressed in some type of way.
Like he either needs to take a step back or he needs to take a moment to sit there and relax. But look, the moment that we also need to discuss here, A-Train, the fact that he's willing to do these things is definitely a huge sign that, Mother's Milk flipped a good one. He flipped someone that they can actually rely upon to do the thing that needs to be done. Sure, he had back and forth with Kimiko. He had arguments. He had things that needed to be discussed. Because look, Homelander's at this party. He's aware of what happens if he gets busted. But at the same moment in time, the minute he ran Mother's Milk to the hospital, the little kid looked him dead in the eyes, and his face just lit up like he saw Christmas for the very first time in their life, like one of them forming their early formative memories. That's going to be something that's going to stick with A-Train. He remembers what it was like, probably at one point in time, to actually do the job that the Seven says they do. This probably tickles him and touches him in a way that he hasn't been touched emotionally in a long, long time. This thought and this moment is going to be a very powerful motivator for him to stay informant for the boys. But ultimately, as we discussed in the live stream, if you were there, some of us don't think A-Train is going to make it out of potentially a next season, but that's something else for another conversation to be had. Carry on with our lovely informant plan and everything that involves the one and the only despicable Tech Knight.
Well, again, they end up getting the drop on Tech Knight, and they basically siphon off a bunch of his resources towards a whole bunch of other
Charitable
foundations and,
causes.
and causes that really just irked, Tech Knight. So if you know what type of character Tech Knight is, then you know what kind of things he was probably not happy about having money donated to. Eventually, he cracked and talked about his prisons are basically being internment camps for Homelander and all New and all their people. So completely bad thing. He's been making money off of this stuff, and eventually his butler had enough of it and decided to go ahead and finish off Tech Knight for them, which I did not expect to see, happen, but I was glad that it happened. Tech Knight is officially dead and done. Ladio has made their escape, which is the little red goblin helping them out, whatever that suit was, that rubber red suit. Hey, helped him out and apparently is free, and hopefully Ladio is going to live a better life. But while that was going on and they were getting freed, we got to see Homelander attempt to speak his cause to all the little boosters and stuff like that, and it was not going over well. He was panicking. He did not look like he could handle it, and Newman had to come in and save. And thanks to a conversation that she had with Sister Sage earlier, she was able to come in and save it. So that which made Homelander feel better, but he still wasn't happy about it because again, he was not the smartest person in the room, and he was not the one everybody was looking to. So that made him feel some type of way. So
And like touching upon that, the reason Homelander had to step up, Sister Sage got one right to the temple. She had a nice little convenient hole, and if you're aware with like how she works, you take one shot to the brain, she goes dumb for a little bit, and she resorted back to her childish behavior and her antics and was literally shoving cake in her face while Homelander's like, right, Sister Sage? And it's like, just kidding, throwing it on back. So Newman then had to like try and make the save because Homelander is that spoiled kid who's never been told that his thoughts are, unoriginal, bland, or uninspiring. So now that he's had to have these moments brought out publicly in front of this room full of people who not only played the politics game, but have clearly won at this politics game in life and pushed themselves into positions of prominence, whether you liked it or not, he's not going to be that smartest person in the room. Newman's beaten these people. She knows how to play this game. So the fact she was able to save him was a huge step in the right direction. And then as Homelander's starting to spiral, now he's figured out everything's starting to unravel over at Vought Tower. Do you want to pick up the pieces there?
Oh yeah, everything's unraveling in Vault Tower because you got Noir. Freaking, he is tired of being Noir. That he doesn't know anything about the original Noir, and he's just tired of it. So him and Deep having a conversation. He's got his mask off and everything, and they're trying to have a conversation. But again, none of these two really know what's going on or how to handle things. They're both just trying to do as they're told. But again, Noir is not really having it. So I would be surprised if Noir makes a break for it and goes on about his business. But also all the information that Victoria was talking about, all that stuff was being recorded because of the trackers and listening devices that Huey had placed inside the room. So all that information that they spoke about, everything that came up about giving anything back to corporations, was all recorded by Starlight and Huey, and they're sitting there talking about it. But in the process of that, Huey finally has his breakdown. He just lost his father, and he is just assaulted by two people, Tech Knight and Ashley, and everything has finally come out to the surface, and he is able to cry, get it out, frustrated. Hey, everybody has a breaking point. Huey finally met his, so that good on him for toughing through to get stuff done, so that and trying to get the mission done. But ultimately, it caused way too much damage to him, and now he is feeling it. So we don't know how much more useful Huey's going to be for the rest of this season. I'm not quite sure. But again, he's there, and it has been expressly said that they probably need Butcher back. But Butcher's been MIA doing his own thing. And that's the thing about Butcher, is trying to figure out what ways can he take out Homelander. Right now, Homelander's being taken out by Firecracker because she took something out to give him. As you as you've seen by our thumbnail, very, very patriotic. Nothing like a cold glass of milk and the stars and stripes, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, somebody
She put the
told her
white and the red, white, and blue.
somebody told her how or what to do, or she figured out on her own, not sure. But she's been taking medication so that has a side effect of enlarging her heart, but it helps her produce milk, which we all know Homelander is very fond of milk, and he's very fond of having it straight from the source. So Firecracker's got Homelander under her thumb a little bit now. Don't know how far she's gonna be able to take that.
I mean, she was ripping him straight up. She stroke the ego, and then she was like, hit him with the money shot, and that was it. There was no chance he was going to be able to survive that. So the
She
fact
needs
that
that.
she's got him right there and Sage just screwed up,
Yeah.
things are in the wrong place psychologically for him. But as a character, psychologically, you called out astutely during last week's live stream. I think you may want to discuss as your theory panned out.
Look, Butcher has been losing it, and again, that's the virus. The virus that we talked about earlier. That's what we're bringing back around. The virus has a chance to kill all soups if it gets airborne, and he is struggling with that because Becca does not want him to do that. That could kill all his friends. That could kill Kamiko. That could kill, Ryan. And these are things that are happening. But Kessler's thinking like, hey, this is perfect. You take them all out. This is genocide, and this is exactly what Kessler wants and stuff. But Kessler and Becca, like I've been saying, are playing angel and demon on his shoulder. They've been in his head the entire time, and he just came to the realization that they can see each other because they've never really been there at the same time. They can see each other. So it seems to me that Becca is his doubts and wanting to do good and do better, versus Kessler is more or less the parasite that's been building up in his brain along with that big old tumor sitting on it. And that's what's been controlling him as far as those thoughts go. So now they're starting to clash, which lets me know more that his timer is ticking down shorter and shorter. And now Samir, who's been seeing this the entire time, is like, who are you talking to? Like, what are you doing? You're having a whole conversation with yourself. They recap everything from the pouring the alcohol, from freaking the walking around, so like that. Like, yeah, Kessler has not been there. Becca has not been there because we know what happened to Becca. Like, this has all been in his head. And I called it from jump. He's got to figure out how to deal with that and how to get Kessler out of his head, get the parasite out of his body, reduce that tumor, something, whatever he can do to reduce these urges and thoughts he has about destroying all the soups. Because it's going to cause him to destroy the people he cares about most. So now Butcher's in a dilemma. Butcher's in a bind. He has no idea what to do or how to go about doing it now. And that's where we end the episode. So,
and like Samir said flat out, I'm not helping you. You're the kind of person I don't want to have this virus in their hands explicitly. So Butcher's going to have to do some quick thinking, do some quick realignment of his thoughts and his priorities, and figure out whether saving Ryan or ending the man that took away his wife is really going to be the one that is the play for him ultimately. But what will be the best play for you is hit that lovely red subscribe button. It's bottom right logo or in that red box below. We don't have any more thoughts for you other than, hey, come on by, checking out some House of the Dragons this Sunday, and some more amazing content coming from the boys coming up next week. My Hero Academia is on hiatus for 1 week, but they'll be back. I'll be here for you guys. In the meantime, I'm Brent with the astute theory crafter himself, the man, the myth, the marvel, Chaos himself. We'll see you in the next one.